We got a 1-year extension. Why don't we sign on right now?
Let me ask you a question. Did you get permission from your boss?
Why don't we sign on right now?
Did your boss, Donald Trump?
You can easily extend
the ACA
right now.
Did your boss, Donald Trump, give you permission? Yes, he is.
No, he's not. And by the way,
So let me ask you a
why
question.
did you vote to
Let me
shut
ask
the
you a
government
question.
down?
You
Why
know
did you
I-
vote to shut
Let me
down?
ask you a question.
For years, you always lectured about how we need to keep the government open.
You're making a show of this to
No,
make
it's
yourself
sad.
relevant.
It's sad. You can easily sign on to this.
You're embarrassing yourself right now.
You can sign on to this. The only
You're
embarrassment
chasing
here is
clout.
you.
You're an
You
embarrassment.
can sign on to the bill.
Let me ask you a question.
You have 4 Democrats on here.
Let me ask
Why
you a
won't you
question.
sign on
Let me ask
to
you a
it?
question.
It's a clean
Let me ask
extension
you a
for 1
question.
year.
You voted for the one big
Clean
ugly bill,
extension.
correct?
I voted for a
The
tax cut
largest-
bill that gave the
the
largest.
Washington's political temperature just went up again, as inside the U.S. Capitol, a routine policy debate over healthcare subsidies turned into a fiery confrontation between Republican Congressman Mike Lawler and Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries. What began as a bipartisan appeal soon spiraled into a sharp exchange, reflecting the deep divide over how to keep millions of Americans insured. It started with a bipartisan proposal to extend the Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies that were first expanded under President Biden's American Rescue Plan in 2021.
This tax cut to Americans in history, including, by the way, the average New Yorker getting a $4,000 tax cut. Are you against that?
You're embarrassing
yourself. Do
yourself
you want
right
to
now.
cut the standard deduction in
The
half?
largest
Is that what
cut to
you want to do?
Medicaid in
No, we
American
rooted out
history. You voted
waste,
for that.
fraud, and abuse, by the
You
way.
voted
Tom DiNapoli, the
for a
Democratic
permanent-
controller of New
Let
York,
me ask you a question.
pointed out that $1.2
If
billion
you're gonna- if you're
were
gonna-
wasted.
Listen, you're not going to talk. You're not going to talk to me.
Wasted
You're not
on
going to talk to me
fraud
and talk
and
over
non-New
me
York residents
because you don't
getting
want to
paid.
hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm
So
listening.
why don't
Go
you
ahead.
just keep your mouth shut?
Oh,
because you
is
showed
that-
up.
is that the way to
you
talk?
showed up. You showed up.
Yeah.
And so you voted for this one
I
big
signed
ugly
on to
bill.
this.
Those subsidies, which lower premiums for middle-class families, are set to expire soon, threatening to raise monthly costs for more than 13 million Americans. Lawler, a moderate Republican from New York, joined several colleagues from swing districts urging immediate action to stop those rate hikes before the election year. He publicly called on Hakeem Jeffries to put partisanship aside and co-sponsor a short-term extension. Sources on Capitol Hill describe a tense hallway exchange between Lawler and Jeffries. According to staffers present, Lawler accused Democratic leadership of playing politics with people's premiums.
Sign on to the bill.
Is your boss Donald Trump behind that?
HR 5145. Why don't you get on it?
Mike, is your boss Donald Trump behind that?
Why won't you get on it?
Because you don't work for the American people.
Oh, I do. I
You
work
don't
for the people of New York. I work for the people of my district.
Is that why you? Is that
I'm
why
here.
You got 145,000.
And by the way, I voted
people
for
on
a
Medicaid.
clean CR to keep the government open and
Mike,
funded.
you're-
You voted to shut it
you're
down.
embarrassing yourself right now.
Yeah, leader, with all due
Well, as they would
respect,
say
you're
back
the
in the-
one.
why are you playing yourself?
You're the one
Why are
who
you playing
actually
yourself
voted
with
to
these
shut the
theatrics?
government down.
Actually, you
It's
know
sad.
that's not true.
It's sad. You voted to shut the government down.
Do Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the President?
Right, and
correct?
you're smart enough to know
Is
that you
right?
need 60 votes in the Senate,
Is
right?
that right? No.
Do you need 60 votes in the Senate
Was
or no?
60 votes needed to pass your one big ugly bill?
Reconciliation, which you
Was
did with
60
the IRA,
was
and
60
boy, that really reduced inflation.
Are you
did a
trying to
great job
elevate
there.
yourself because you're afraid
I'm not
you're
trying to
about to lose
elevate myself.
re-election?
No, I'm not going to lose
Ask your
re-election. You
question.
spent $42 million last cycle. You didn't do that great.
Why aren't you running for governor right now?
Because I actually enjoy this job, and I'm here to do.
While Jeffries reportedly fired back that Republicans caused this uncertainty in the first place by threatening to repeal the ACA. Voices rose, cameras turned, and what was meant to be a quiet bipartisan negotiation became a headline-grabbing standoff about healthcare, responsibility, and election year positioning. At the heart of this fight are enhanced ACA subsidies first introduced during the pandemic to cushion rising medical costs. They made insurance affordable for millions of working and middle-class Americans, especially those earning just above the poverty line. If Congress fails to renew them, average monthly premiums could increase by $400 or more per family, according to data from the Kaiser Family Foundation. That's why even some conservative lawmakers like Lawler argue for a temporary bipartisan fix, not as an endorsement of Obamacare, but as an emergency measure to protect their constituents. Democrats, however, want a long-term extension preferably tied to broader reforms, while Republicans counter that Democrats are trying to lock in pandemic-era spending forever. The timing could not be more delicate. With the 2026 midterms on the horizon, both parties are vying to claim credit for defending affordable health care. Lawler, representing a competitive suburban district, knows his survival may depend on appealing to moderates, while Jeffries, as minority leader, cannot afford to look like he's bending under Republican pressure. Behind closed doors, strategists say this confrontation is less about policy and more about who gets to wear the hero's cape when Americans open their next insurance bill. Lawler is correct that millions could see higher costs if Congress fails to act. And Jeffries is correct that GOP resistance to the ACA has historically fueled the instability he's now criticizing. But experts warn that political brinkmanship could delay relief until after the subsidies lapse, causing real-world pain for families caught in the middle. Economists also note that the subsidies have reduced the uninsured rate to a historic low of around 7% according to the U.S. Census Bureau, and letting them expire would erase years of progress. Once again, Washington is at a crossroads torn between politics and policy, headlines and households. Mike Lawler's confrontation with Hakeem Jeffries wasn't just about tempers flaring, it was a mirror of America's ongoing healthcare dilemma. How far should government go to keep insurance affordable for all? So here's the question for you. Should Congress pass a short-term bipartisan extension to protect Americans right now, or should lawmakers hold out for a permanent fix, even if it means higher premiums in the short run? Tell us what you think in the comments, because this debate isn't over and neither is America's fight for affordable health care.